place, somewhere that Jackie's kept all his, let's say, collectibles, film props, and not just in the movie industry as well, all the things he likes.
Hello and welcome to round 5 of the FIA World Endurance Championship. Our next stop on the calendar is China, and we're at the Jackie Chan Film Gallery for a welcome party before the racing starts. But now it's time to head to the Shanghai International Circuit and find out what our GT drivers think about the track.
I think we're under 1 minute. Under 30 seconds.
Three, two, one. Pit exit is green for the start of the safari.
Racing now is so close in the GT Pro class, you need to be qualifying well. You're always going to be fighting for a very, very long time within the class. Track position is crucial and tyre degradation. So it's a long race, 6 hours, but very hard on the tyre, so you have to be clever.
After Fuji we saw that we had the performance to win actually the race. Now here the weather plays a big role, I guess, but our performance in the rain in Fuji was already good, so we are really looking forward.
The car was really strong in the rain, so maybe it suits the British style, the British car. If it would rain here in China, but always a great place to come here, one of the favorite layouts of the season.
Sunday morning dawned wet, but that wasn't going to dampen the enthusiasm of the ardent Chinese fans. They were out to see their heroes, local and foreign. And yes, they know about Formula One drivers here as well. Not ideal conditions for the drivers or for the fans, but as ever, the drivers in the WEC enjoy meeting the people that come to watch them. And they came in their thousands.
Way too cold and rainy, but it's the same for everyone, so let's see for the race.
T'as pas de lunettes de soleil, s'il te plaît?
是我们当中所看到的。In the GTE AM class, Paul Dalla, Pedjalami and Matthias Lauda claimed their first pole of the season. Singing in the rain as well would be GTE Pro entry from Chevrolet Racing, Oliver Gavin and Tommy Milner in a single car effort, adding to the field. But at the sharp end, it was pole position for the 66 Ford, Olivier Pla and Stefan Mucker.
We had a whole practice session on Friday, or 2 practice sessions in the wet, so I think we know what to do, but the amount of water is a lot more today. I heard already from Ollie, who did a warm-up lap. It's quite tricky out there, so we have to see, we have to stay on track. We want to get as much as possible points, that's the target for us.
Jackie Chan DC Racing went 1-2 in the LMP2 class. Gabriel Aubry, Stefan Richelme and Ho Pin Tung on pole.
World Endurance Championship, but also other ACO Championship like Asian Le Mans Series have really ignited the interest in endurance racing here in China, and we can see year after year, of course, we're trying really hard with our team Jackie Chan DC Racing to help this as well, organizing many events, and of course, having such a well-known name as our team owner also helps.
Rebellion won the battle of the non-hybrid cars in qualifying. Neil Charney, Andre Lotterer and Bruno Senna starting third, but they hadn't managed to split the Toyotas in qualifying. Even in dry conditions, the hybrids were all powerful. Pole position went to our Fuji winners in number 7, Mike Conway, Kamui Kobayashi and Jose Maria Lopez. They were looking forward to the chance to closing the points gap on their championship leading teammates in number 8. But they all knew it was not going to be easy.
We never ran these conditions so far. We ran on the wet on Friday, but it wasn't as wet as it is now. So yeah, it's going to be adapting all the time and yeah, try a survival race and a really hard one. Luckily for us, in the first lap we're going to have a clean track, which visibility is always better like this.
I'm on the grid just moments away for the 6 Hours of Shanghai to start. As you can see, it's tipping down here. It's very different conditions yesterday in qualifying. So the big questions are, how is this race going to start and how are they going to perform in this weather?
We're under 5 minutes to start the 6 Hours of Shanghai behind the safety car.
Just the usual radio check around the track and just update us on the track.
And we have started the 6 Hours of Shanghai behind the safety car.
This is going to be tough for everyone, for the drivers, for the teams trying to plan the strategy, and for race control as well, to try and keep everybody safe. Although it was wet in free practice, it was nothing like this wet.
Rain will stay like that for the while at this moment. We don't have any more updates. Rain level 3 will remain for some time now.
Even with preheated tyres, keeping enough temperature in the rubber to give you any grip was just about impossible.
This is the most dangerous run.
Oh no! Thomas Laurent in the barriers in the Rebellion, just like Gustavo Menezes a month ago in Fuji.
Information to the pit lane, we are red flagging the race. The race is red flagged. Cars to stop in line on the start-finish straight. In line. Cars may be covered by the mechanic with a red armband, which is allowed onto the grid.
This might be a little bit of good news for the Rebellion team. Thomas Laurent got the car back to the pit lane, and now they can look at what they need to do to rebuild it.
Thomas lost the car as it came out onto the back straight, and it just snapped. It wasn't anything that he did wrong, he just snapped and went straight into the wall. Fortunately, although it looked quite severe on the TV, the damage actually that we can see is not so bad. Now we're under red flag at the moment, so we're not allowed to fix the car. We can obviously look at it, they can't stop us looking, so we've had a good look around, and from that visual check we can see exactly what we need to do.
Not just Bart Hayden and his crew, race director and race control, all trying to work out what to do next. Heavy rain forecast for quite a while. And under the watchful eye of WC CEO Gerard Neveu, they make their decision.
After this moment, tires can be changed on the grid.
The clock started running, counting down from 6 hours as they rolled away behind the safety car originally. So we're now almost an hour into the race as the drivers return to their cars.
Race will be resumed behind the safety car.
Setting off still in their original grid order, nose to tail. The drivers again trying to keep some heat in the tyres. If they drop 1 or 2 degrees out of their operating window, they'll be like wood. Rebellion have completed the rebuild of the number 3 car, and they have only lost 1 lap to the field. Safety car heads for the pits. We are about to go green, an hour and a quarter into the Shanghai 6 hours. Jose Maria Lopez will be the first to get the green lights, and away we go. In the spray behind somewhere is Sebastian Buemi, and the rest of the field are all but invisible. Lopez with a really good start, and the number 7 team are desperate to win this one and fight back into the championship. Porsche struggles in the rain in Fuji, but look at this. For third place and a change for the lead in LMP2. Through goes the 37 car to take it away from their pole-sitting teammates. Down through turns 2 and 3, struggling for grip, really wet conditions. And the number 3 Rebellion trying to fight its way through from the back of the field. There's the 38 car. And there's our GTE Pro leader, the 66 Ford. Right behind is the BMW, the Aston Martin, the Porsche. 4 makes in the top 4. The front-engine GT cars went so well in the rain in Fuji early on when it was at its wettest, but Olivier Pla, the pole sitter, keeps his nose in front. Down to the hairpin, and Jose Maria Lopez under real pressure now from Sebastian Buemi. Buemi's been on the radio to the team. He's too slow, get him out of the way. Not sure that's going to happen. Kevin Estre on the charge. He's already 3rd ahead of the Aston Martin. Now there's Martin Tomczyk's BMW. Look at the Porsche finding grip around the outside. Whatever they've done to the Porsche since Fuji, it has really worked. Up into 2nd goes Estre. Just look how quickly the cars behind disappear in the murk. It is just about raceable, but only just. Jasman Jafar leads teammate Stefan Richelmy 1-2 for Jackie Chan Racing, but look behind, 31 Dragon Speed. Anthony Davidson on Michelin tyres, Dunlop tyres for the 2 Jackie Chan DC Racing cars. We've got a chassis war and tyre war going on in LMP2, and Davidson really getting to grips with these conditions in the 31 Dragon Speed car, all over the back of the pole sitter. Traction absolutely at a premium, over the curbs, doesn't help on the exit, down onto the front straight. Oh, trouble for Tom Dillman. Well, that looks like he's just lost it under braking and fires up the Vicoles. Looping around in a spin, rivers of water crossing the track in places. Now here is our lead battle. Jose Maria Lopez gets it wrong under braking at the hairpin, caught out by the rain perhaps as the puddles shift, and there's a change of the lead. Take a look from number 8 with Sebastian Buemi. Door opens, thank you very much, through he goes. LMP2 lead battle, Anthony Davidson squirming around the outside of Jasman Jafar. This for the lead, and Dragon Speed go through. So the Dragon Speed car, Anthony Davidson absolutely flying. He was a little bit unsure about the car at Silverstone when he joined the team, but he is loving racing these LMP2s. Stefan Sarrazin on the inside of Neil Jani for third. Through goes the SMP driver. And the Frenchman looks like he's just got more grip. Now, is that aerodynamics or is that chassis? The Rebellion looks like a more forgiving car to drive, but the ultimate grip gets Sarrazin in front, and Jenson Button closing in behind as well in the battle for third. The Rebellions had the advantage in dry qualifying, but in these streaming wet conditions, it looks as though the SMP BR1 chassis is slightly better, perhaps a little more aero, just giving them the edge. There's Jenson Button in the second red, white and blue SMP car, and he is closing in as well on the Rebellion. So Sarrazin up to third place now. That's Olivier Pla, the GTE Pro leading forward, is off in the gravel at turn 1. Oh my goodness, cars going off everywhere. The Alpine is off, so too is the 98 car in the AM class, and the safety car is out. And there, Nico Lapierre, a passenger in the Cinetec Alpine car. Cars going off everywhere, the rain is getting heavier, and that's why the safety car's out. Sally Yolek in the TF Sport Aston Martin, buried in the gravel. Safety car out so that they can rescue the TF Sport car.
When we do practice in turn 7, I have a lot of overspeed, a lot. You could try to do a driver adjust on TC in turn 7, Jose. Driver adjust on TC in turn 7. We try to change the downforce for the next stop, but you have to survive for now.
Here's what happened to Olivier Pla on board with Kevin Estre, challenging the Ford into turn 1, gets on the curbs, trying to hold the inside line. Pla still there, he hits the back of the Ford. Frank-Stefan Walliser, the head of Porsche Motorsport, not too sure about that.
Yeah, it's okay. I couldn't do anything. I was on the inside and he kept turning in and that's the one to go. Now on board they showed the replay and you look like you didn't move from the curb, so for sure he squeezed the gap.
Well, that'll be down to the stewards to decide. They'll have to take a look at that. Sally Yolek back on track. They may have lost a couple of laps, but he is back in the race for TF Sport, and that's good news. Motoaki Ishikawa. He just avoided the gravel there.
For the moment, we save the fuel. For the moment, we save the fuel. As soon as we got information on the restart, we work on the brake. I think the rain's getting a lot worse at the moment, mate. It's a lot more standing water.
Red flag. We're red flagging the race. All cars line up again behind the safety car.
The problem is not the fact that this is wet or that this is humid. The problem is the combination between the level of water on the track and the heavy rain. So when you have water on the track and not heavy rain, it's possible to race. But when you have the combination of heavy rain plus the water, there is no time for the evacuation of the water. And we saw that just a few laps ago. There is so many cars that we lost in the same lap because this is impossible with the aquaplaning or the river of water to control the situation.
Safety car back in the pits, and with a slew of LMP1 pit stops, the race leader is now Stefan Sarrazin. As we are approaching the midway point, we go green for the second time today. Right behind him, Renger van der Zande in the number 10 Dragon Speed LMP1 car. So this is an entertaining battle. In the GTE Pro class, Aston Martin and BMW still going strong, but look at Sam Bird, the Ferrari now starting to look as though it might be coming back into it. They struggled in the rain in Fuji, they struggled in the very wet conditions here early on. Have Ferrari found something that will allow them to be competitive in the wet? Silver Ferrari, Matt Griffin second in GTE AM. Sally Yolek not in this battle, but through has gone Matthias Lauda in the 98 Aston. He's up to third. The Dempsey Proton Porsche up to fourth place, because at the back now, Francesco Castellacci's Ferrari was in third, but they have both gone straight by him. Yellow flags are out, and here's why. Andy Prio's Ford, the front end grip taken away as the Rebellion comes by, and he's a passenger into the gravel. Take a look from on board. Here comes the Rebellion, and in his wash, there goes the grip onto the most slippery bit of tarmac in the place. Safety car is out for rescue operations. Halfway through the 6 Hours of Shanghai, the 1, 2, 3 are all GT Pro cars, Porsche, Aston and AF Corsa. They have yet to stop. They have not been lapped yet. We've had so little green flag racing. Rebellion and Toyota leading in LMP1. Jackie Chan on top in LMP2. And Team Project Heinz, the Porsche, 20th place and leading in GTE AM. I tell you what, if they have to red flag it now, what a result that's going to be. The pole sitting Toyota down in 13th, and only Sally Yolek's Aston and the Rebellion are not on the lead lap after their problems.
We're on the restart, so you have only 3 GTs in front of you. But I remind you that the overfixing is not allowed before the line. Safety car coming in this lap, safety car coming in this lap. Get temperature, no overtaking before the line.
That's the message for Bruno Senna, fourth in the safety car queue behind the 3 GTE Pro cars. And Kevin Estre in the Porsche backing up the Aston Martin and the Ferrari as he sprints for the line. Safety car pulls back into the pits. We go green again. Half the race down, half still to go. Here comes the Ferrari, great restart. Sam Bird pulling around the outside and Maxime Martin up to the super fast turn 1. And here comes Bruno Senna down the inside. Right behind him, Fernando Alonso in the Toyota. They're 4th and 5th. No, they're not. They're 2nd and 5th now. But watch the 4-wheel drive of the hybrid Toyota. He deploys all that traction here. The front axle drags him around as he goes past the Ferrari and the Aston. Bird didn't get through, but he's trying again in the Ferrari. Can't squeeze through there. It's still the Porsche that leads. Estre from Senna. Porsche GT car in front of the LMP1 car, but surely not for long. But will Fernando Alonso get past both of them before Senna gets past the Porsche? Look at this, he's trying to come around the outside in the Toyota. He can go anywhere with 4-wheel drive traction, drives right by Bruno Senna, and Senna still can't get by the Porsche. Fernando Alonso leads for Toyota, second is Bruno Senna. GT still in the hands of Kevin Estre. Jenson Button closing in on the Rebellion again in the very wet conditions as we saw earlier. Looks as though the SMP car has got a little bit more traction, a little bit more front end grip. Maybe it's working the front tyres harder and keeping that temperature, and Button's through. Up into 2nd place for Jenson Button. He led in Fuji courtesy of great speed and some pit stop strategy. Will he end up leading here? Well, here's the pass down on the inside of Bruno Senna, and Senna has no answer. Fernando Alonso leads Jenson Button. Tommy Milner in the Corvette squirming off the curbs. Here comes Richard Leitz in the Porsche. This is the battle for 5th in GTE Pro. Corvette's first non-Le Mans race in the WEC since Texas in 2014. It's the first single car entry for Corvette Racing since Texas Motor Speedway 2002. But it's great to see them back here. James Collada goes through in the Ferrari as well. And the Corvette team with no experience at all of Shanghai. Neither drivers nor team have been here. And they're not used to the wets either. In comes Kevin Estre, former race leader and the GTE Pro leader in the 92 Porsche. And finally a driver change. And in gets Michael Christensen. Neat work and trouble for the 37 car. That was our race leader early on in LMP2. We're on tan in the gravel. The winners last time out in Fuji drift out onto that super polished bit of tarmac. Well, you can see from the tyre tracks in the gravel, he's not the first to go off there. Prio was off there as well, Stefan Mucker. Here's Bruno Senna and Kamui Kobayashi, the battle for third, as the number 8 Toyota and the number 7 both work their way back up the field. Yellow flags are out in the first couple of corners. Will we need a safety car, though, to rescue Weiron Tan? LMP2, GTE AM and P1 and P1 hybrid cars all battling for the same bit of tarmac, and as ever, in these conditions, the Toyota's going to win that one. Aston Martin 1-2 in GTE Pro. The best result for the new Vantage so far this season, a 4th place. They led early on in very wet conditions at Fuji, but by the team's own admission, they let that one get away from them. They will not do that here. They are determined to really maximise their potential. 1-2 for Max Martin and Nicky Team. AM class leader is still the Clearwater Racing Ferrari of Matt Griffin. Last time together for this trio, Wengson Mock will not do any further WEC races, so there'll be a different lineup when we get to Sebring for race 6 of the Super Season. Jenson Button under pressure from Kamui Kobayashi in the Toyota, and a red and white car with extra traction, but Button is determined to hang on here. Last weekend, he won the Japanese Super GT title in his first season racing in Japan, his second home. But unfortunately, this time it is a Japanese who gets in front of him. Kobayashi grabs second spot. With a 4-wheel drive when the hybrid system is deployed, Toyota really have all the aces up their sleeve here, and they are back 1-2. Race leader Fernando Alonso drifts out wide, lapping Stefan Sarrazin. Can't avoid too many mistakes like that if you want to win this race. Fernando Alonso back on track, position number 1 for the championship leaders. Rebellion into the pit lane, the number 1 car. Number 3 still recovering from its earlier problems. Bruno Senna out, Andre Lotterer in, 2.5 hours to go. How much of that will be green flag racing, I wonder? In fact, Senna only just made it back to the pits. Take a look in the gloom, trying to go round the Aston Martin, and got caught out as the Aston came across to take the racing line. Oh, that was close. That could have been the end of their race. Pick the bones out of this in the gloom. What are we looking at? Oh, there's a Project Heinz car. Patrick Lindsay, the black and yellow, right behind Eddie Cheever, the third. His father, a Grand Prix driver and a Jaguar sports car racer. But the young Italian-born American versus the American in the Porsche goes through. The Ferrari still has some moves here as the track gets a little less wet. Coming back to them, and problems for the number 4 car, Bicoles, parked at the side of the road. Tom Dillman climbs out from a cockpit that's either misted up or full of smoke, not sure which. Right, he's had enough of that, hasn't he? Climbs over the pit wall and abandons ship, and that might be a safety car. Yellow flags are out on the main straight. Here is a Corvette versus Aston Battle, 2 different classes though. Aston Martin in GTE AM, the Corvette in the GTE Pro class. Tommy Milner's now handed over to his teammate Oliver Gavin, and that means he is free in the Corvette garage for Louise Beckett to go and have a chat.
This must be the weirdest race I've ever done in my life, I think. So, yeah, the weather conditions there at the start were very difficult, with it raining pretty heavy and then stopping, and then it seemed like the track improved and then it rained more and the track was worse. So very difficult there for everybody, and frustrating, I'm sure, for the fans and for the WC and for us as team and drivers to want to get this race going and to have all those stops. So it's much better now. You can tell the track's drying up, much more consistent conditions. So now we can settle in for 2.5 hours of racing.
Or maybe not. Safety car is out, not just for the Bicoles car, because James Allen's gone off at turn 1 in the BR Engineering Gibson. That is the Dragon Speed car, so they'll have to rescue him. Safety car brings the field back under control. Swift work by the gravel trap tractor man. James Allen back on terra firma already down at turn 1. Mind you, they've had a few to rescue today, and it triggers a slew of pit stops. Only just over 2 hours to go. Now, is it still full wet weather tyres? Yes, it is. No sign of an intermediate yet for Kamui Kobayashi, who stays in. Number 8 Toyota in the pits as well, the race leader. And they're going safe on strategy as well. They came in from the lead, dropped back to second place. Number 7 goes in front, but fresh, full wet weather tyres. With so little running in the first half of the race, there's lots of rubber remaining. They've mistimed that. The safety car queue is going by. They're being held in the pit lane, and they will rejoin right at the back of the queue. That loses them a huge amount of time to their rivals. Back to green flag racing, 2 hours of wet weather still to come here in Shanghai. The forecast is that the rain will ease, but possibly not stop. Kamui Kobayashi in the Toyota in the thick of it as the safety car queue bunched the entire field up. Now, passing cars left, right and centre. Aston Martin still leading in the GTE Pro class. Alex Lynn aboard. He's taken over from starting driver Maxime Martin.
Definitely the start was really tricky. Beginning of the race was so much aquaplaning everywhere. So yeah, it was a tricky one, but through the race it went better and better. So that was good, and now I think that the conditions are just right. So it's wet definitely, but I mean it's fully drivable.
Francois Perraudot going very slowly in the TDS car. That's second in the LMP2 class. What's happened there? Dragon Speed right behind him, looking to pass. Ooh, tagged by Nicky Team in the Aston Martin into a spin. Here is Michael Alishin in the second place, number 11 SMP car. Right behind is Fernando Alonso trying to find a way by the Russian. And again, look at the way the traction from the four-wheel drive of the Toyota with its hybrid boost just pulls him right by. Ford third place, Stefan Mucker, the 66 car, despite that early trip into the gravel when they were knocked off by the Porsche. And through goes Tom Blomqvist in the BMW, like we saw in the wet conditions at the start of the race in Fuji. The front engine BMW looking strong now. Ford starting to lose a bit of pace. Ferrari on Ferrari, not for the lead though, unfortunately. This the battle for 7th and 8th place, but still the two AF Corsa cars are wheel to wheel. Fantastic racing between James Calado and Davide Rigon, and of course the only thing that they care about in AF Corsa is they don't touch each other. Ford are struggling. Look, the 91 car has gone by Stefan Mucker as well. Richard Lietz in the Porsche, and behind is the other Porsche. Again, as conditions start to dry out a little bit, Porsche finding more pace, again as happened in Fuji. And up through this GT group comes the 31 LMP2 car. Here's the 91 Porsche, and still battling for 7th are the Ferraris. Nothing at stake except personal pride and a bit of fun for Davide Rigon and James Calado. Who's going to come out on top here? Inside line almost always wins at the hairpin, and so it does this time. The 51 get their nose in front. James Calado squeezes by Davide Rigon. Not sure that battle's over yet though. Fresh tyres waiting for the 66 Ford. Maybe that was the problem. The wets start to give up the ghost when they get a little tired. No driver change, fuel and tyres, and good to go for Stefan Mucker. And that hopefully will give them back their performance edge. Aston Martin 1-2. They were very strong early on in the Fuji race. They stayed too long on the intermediate. By their own admission, they really didn't make the most of their advantage. Determined to stay out front here. Alex Lynn leading Nicky Team, but the threat might come still from the Porsche. Richard Lietz reeling in the third place BMW Tom Blomqvist. And it looks as though Blomqvist is starting to struggle a little bit on tyres. Maybe he's losing the front end a bit, losing some temperature. Maybe, like the Ford, it just needs a new set. But with the topsy-turvy running here, you don't want to dive into the pits for tyres in case you need fuel and you get caught out by a safety car. Lietz on the inside, he's got grip, but Blomqvist putting up a fantastic defensive battle there. Ollie Gavin, drifts out a little wide and onto the pirouette table. Oh my goodness me, what's that? Triple toe loop and double salco. 9.6 from the Russian judge. Blomqvist still holding on to third. And this is very frustrating for Richard Lietz. He's wasting fresh rubber, good rubber, trying to get by the BMW. This time, though, he's got his nose inside. Can he keep the power onto the straight? He can, but look how close Blomqvist is, and we know the BMW's got great top-end speed. He pulls out in the slipstream, and he will come by. There's the Astons, 1, 2, and somewhere, some of those headlights are the battle for third. On the left, yes it is, the BMW still in front. And you can see the wiper on intermittent, it is still drying. And you can see that the 3 lights are on the Porsche. Last time they passed the timing being the Porsche was ahead, but the BMW has got his nose back in front. He is third still. Fantastic battle. Which way is this going to work? Lietz on the inside, Blomqvist on the outside. Around goes the race leader, just to further disturb the airflow and muddy the waters. There's the number 10 Dragon Speed LMP1 car as well. That gets in between them. That holds Lietz up as well. Jimmy Bruni watching intently. Here comes Lietz around the outside. Blomqvist going, go on then, son. You go the long way. Oh, but he makes a mistake in the final corner. Lietz comes by, but Blomqvist is still too close. Can Lietz shut the door on the inside? He has to. Force Blomqvist to go wide. He doesn't. Blomqvist can't go down the inside. Antonio Felix da Costa on the radio going, go on, Tom, get him. But I think that may be it, because this is the part of the track where the Porsche has the advantage, and he may be able to wriggle away from Blomqvist before they get to the long back straight.
Richie is doing a great job, fantastic, and I think this condition it's really what we are looking for Porsche. And the start of the race was very difficult. I think we didn't have the condition for us, especially from the starting position where we were after yesterday quali, but now it looks okay. The car is running good. So let's see in the next 1.5 hours.
Green flag pit stop for our LMP2 leader, Jackie Chan DC Racing. Hopington will get out, Gabriel Aubry gets in, and they have intermediate tyres ready for the Frenchman. This is an aggressive strategy for the car that's leading in LMP2. Yellow flags are out as the Porsche versus BMW battle continues. This time it's the 92 car going by the 82. That's a change for fourth. And the Ferrari goes by as well. So the BMW, it'll come back on the straight here. I think, no, it won't. Too wide over the curbs, just gathers up with a handful of opposite lock, but loses 2 places in 2 corners there. On board with Gabriel Aubry. Replay here. What are we seeing on the Inters? Off wide, onto the AstroTurf, into the gravel. Is that the end of the race for Jackie Chan DC Racing? No, there's salvation. Oh, just makes it back out, but has he lost the lead? Race leader in LMP2, Pastor Maldonado, has handed over to Roberto Gonzalez, the 31 Dragon Speed car. They've got full wet weather tyres on, not Inters. So they're gambling on it, perhaps getting wetter, but the wiper's not been put back on the screen. If it does rain, they may be in real trouble with visibility. Heading into the last hour, this is the penultimate stop for the Toyota. What are they looking for? Is there damage on the car? Number 8 was the championship leader coming in here. They don't need a disaster. They are still on full wets as well at Toyota. What did their forecasters tell them? Here's the race leader. The number 7 Toyota back in front. And they had a big advantage after the number 8 got caught behind the safety car. But, oh my goodness, you can't keep going off the road and expect to come back with no dramas. The gathering gloom, still an hour to go as the SMP number 17 comes into the pits. Egor Orudchev will receive full service and a peel-off windscreen clears up his visibility. Again, full wets for him. GTE-AM leader, this is Porsche Junior driver Julian Andlauer, shares with Matt Campbell and Christian Reed, the Proton Racing boss. And at the moment, the Porsche, the dominant factor in the AM class. The 2 Dempsey Proton cars and Project 1 Motorsport all vying for podium spots. SMP Racing's BR1 is still in 3rd place. Vitaly Petrov carrying on the good work of Mikhail Alishin, but it wasn't easy for him or Jenson Button.
pretty scary at the beginning. I don't think any of us have ever driven this car in the, well, we have in the wet, and there's a lot of aquaplaning out there. It doesn't look as bad on TV, but a lot of aquaplaning that comes from obviously having a massive floor, but also from the tyres. As soon as the tyre touches those rivers, you just float. So the driver isn't in control, but yeah, I'm glad that we had a couple of red flags. It was the right call, but we a couple of times when it went green, it was questionable. But most of us kept on the circuit, which is good. But yeah, they started drying, and it was actually quite a lot of fun.
Well, 8 laps to go, Andre, and we are aiming at keeping you in the car if that is okay. What are you aiming at? Copy you, yes. Aiming what? I'm keeping you in the car to finish the race. Oh, thanks. I take that as a yes, and the gap is just under 1 minute now. Just under 1 minute, keep pushing.
Race leader in LMP2, 38 Jackie Chan DC Racing, with 40 minutes odd to go. This is probably their last stop. Well, they had the chance to go onto wet weather tyres. It looks as though the window of opportunity for the Inters has gone, but they are rolling the dice again. Now, this is a very aggressive call. Good luck, Gabriel Aubry. I hope it ends up well.
The thing now is going well, the Inters, but the others still have to pit. And if in case it's raining more, they will have the option to put the wet tires, and they will be faster. But I mean, we still have the lead. Hopefully it's not raining too much.
Hopefully it is not raining too much. Roberto Gonzalez now inherits the lead. Dragon Speed will still need to stop, but the later they stop, the shorter their fuel will be and the quicker their pit stop will be. This could be a real edge of the seat finish in LMP2. Battle for third place. Look at this, the Ferrari up to third again because the topsy-turvy race. Pit stop strategies all over the place, but Davide Rigon in a podium spot. Not for long, I don't think. Richard Leitz in the Porsche has got better traction and goes by into the final corner. And that might be the last time we see a Ferrari in the top three. Just over half an hour to go. Aston still 1-2, but the Porsche ominously catching the 91 and 92, by the way, also going quickly in trouble for Gabriel Aubry. Was the Inters one gamble too much? He's got to keep temperature in the car, must keep it on the circuit. Oh, and contact there in traffic. Now, I'm not sure that was his fault. Aston Martin still 1-2, Porsche catching, but the Dane train is out front.
Finally, we have made the right strategy call, and we have P1 and 2 at the moment. And I'm just really hoping that we can bring this on home, the new car, and on a top step would be something really special.
Well, those guys are out front, but problems now for Maxime Martin. He and Alex Lynn, maybe a little smoother, more sophisticated with their driving, struggling to keep tyre temperature. Richard Leitz in the Porsche is right behind. Aston trying to hold on to this 1-2. A win would be great, a 1-2 would be fantastic for the new Vantage here, but Richard Leitz has got other ideas. The tight inside line we saw Kevin Estre using on the Ford early in the race to go by with the Porsche, and it works this time for Richard Leitz without contact. He's up to second. Here we go. Goes outside, cuts back underneath. The Porsche with better front end bite here. The Aston is struggling at the front, and he keeps the line neat and tidy. Get in. Final stop for the number 8 Toyota comes in from the lead because number 7 stopped a lap earlier. They took tyres. There are tyres here as well. No question of Inters now. It is raining harder. It's also getting very dark. Full wet weather tyres. They'll fuel a little less because they've got fewer laps to go to the end. This is a longer... Oh, the tyres weren't ready. The tyres were not ready, and that could be critical. Number 7 Toyota back in front now, and with 26 minutes remaining, the number 8 car needs a break. They messed up in the pit stop and cost them a chance to take the battle to the teammates. Number 7 out front, and a huge debris field. That's the 17 SMP Racing car out of the final hairpin. He's hit the barriers hard on driver's left. There's not much left of the car, but luckily the pit lane is right there, but that has got to be a safety car. Look at that, there's the aftermath, and with all that heavy debris there, safety car will come out, and I think that's the end of the race for the number 17 car. A lot of damage and only 20 minutes remain. Safety car out, And so is the 17 car, end of their race. What a tough break for SMP. And you saw there the hand signal, I was just a passenger. Mike Conway, Gabriel Aubrey, Marco Sorensen, Matt Campbell are the class leaders inside the final 20 minutes. Will we go green again?
Okay, it's not finished, Andre. It's not finished. Still 20 minutes to go. It's going to be a short safety car, and it will have to happen on track. And Petrov was struggling like hell on the last few laps. He was struggling like hell.
So there's the target for the number 1 Rebellion car. Bruno Senna can do nothing but watch. We go green again. It's night in Shanghai. And with just 6.5 minutes remaining, there's Vitaly Petrov. And right behind him now, coming past the GT car, is Andre Lotterer. The chase is on for the podium. Petrov was struggling, but Lotterer can't get by the GTE AM leader. Struggling for traction now, he squeezes through. Has he lost too much tyre temperature? The lights are on in the gloom here in Shanghai. 5 minutes of racing remain. And the Aston Martin goes by the Rebellion. The Pro Class leader drives by the LMP1 car that's in 4th. And Lotterer's got no traction. Look, the Aston Martin's just left him for dead. He's not going to catch the SMP car. Surely Vitaly Petrov in 3rd place. There's the race leader. Counting down the minutes, Mike Conway must make no mistakes now. If he goes off, that's it, the race is over. And the number 8 car, which is closing in from behind, will take the win. Conway versus Nakajima. It's down to 1.6 seconds. The Japanese driver closing. Edge of the seat stuff for Toyota. This could be a 1-2. It might be a disaster. 92 Porsche in the gloom. Look, what can you see here? Absolutely nothing. 3rd place is up for grabs here. 1.5 minutes to go. Maybe a lap and a half left of the race. Maxime Martin trying to hold off Michael Christensen, but Maxime Martin drifts out wide and through goes the Porsche. Up to 3rd place. Now, can the Aston come back? Yes, back up to 3rd place. Dr. Frank Stefan Walliser watching with interest. Through goes the Porsche, spears by the 92 car, right by the Aston Martin there. Carried so much mid-corner speed. Can the Aston come back at him, or will he have enough in hand as they get onto the straight? Well, there is the Porsche. The Aston's still got the 3 green lights on that shows it was in 3rd, but that will change as they come onto the straight. The Porsche's far enough in front onto the podium. Dark, wet, miserable. It's time for the checkered flag surely here. Last lap in Shanghai. Somewhere in there is the race leader. Somewhere in there is 2nd place. It's on right to the checkered flag. In traffic, the number 7 Toyota. Will he keep his nose in front? Can he out-fumble everybody? Yes, he does. Out of the final corner, the checkered flag awaits. Mike Conway takes it in the number 7 Toyota. Victory for the number 17 for the 2nd race in a row. It's a Toyota 1-2 in Shanghai.
Yeah, it was a hard race. I didn't do much. Most of my stints were under safety car. But yeah, here Mike and Kamui did a fantastic job. Congratulations to the whole team as well. It's always hard to put a race together when the rain is coming and the weather is like this. So really happy with our 2nd win.
Ecstatic Aston Martin. Marco Sorensen, Nicky team claim the 1st win for the new Vantage.
It's been a big fight. It took a little while, but now we're here and I'm just super proud for the whole team. They just kept on working and kept the heads high, even though it's been a really hard season for us. But now we're here and a great way to go into the winter break.
They had the best performance I've ever seen with these colours, right? That's fantastic. Great job.
No wonder Gabriel Aubrey is absolutely thrilled. A huge home win. They've never even been on the podium in Shanghai. The Chinese team now win it, and a super aggressive gamble on intermediate tyres does pay off. Victory in the AM class for the Porsche. Dempsey Proton 77, Christian Reed with the 2 junior drivers, Julian Andlauer and Matt Campbell. And it's a Porsche 1, 2, 3 in the category. Aston Martin absolutely thrilled. Paul Howarth on the left, John Gore on the right. The first win for the Vantage, beating the Porsches in the worst of conditions here in Shanghai. What a result for the Aston Martin team. Porsche still lead the points. First time on the podium for SMP Racing, the number 11 car following the Toyotas across the line. And victory for the number 7 team tightens the championship right up. But Toyota, the dominant force in this year's World Endurance Championship. As if they weren't wet enough already. Champagne celebrations. And there's now less than a win between the top 2 teams in the championship. Behind our winners, take a look where Aston Martin finished up. The GTE Pro winners in 7th overall, ahead of the LMP2 winning number 38 Jackie Chan DC racing car. That's how wet a race it was. Fantastic edge of the seat action after 3 hours of stop-start racing. Dempsey Proton Projectines, the dominant forces in GTE AM.
Up another super close race from the WEC, and don't forget we're going to be back in March from Sebring. There is still 38 hours of racing until the end of the championship, and it's still all to play for. So as the teams pack up, we'll see you in March.
This is the Woodstock of automobile racing.